Just walk away. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror.
Lamprey Milt, where are you, man? Where are you, good buddy? What's going on? Hold on. Where are you? You're at the Bagel Boss?
I'm here.
Incredible. Ground zero. Ground zero to one of the topics we're going to cover today. If you guys are watching, you probably know what that is. And Lamprey's there at ground zero, the Bagel Boss. Because we're going to discuss a little bit about the incident that occurred there. When was that? A few days ago?
Here it is. This is where it went down, guys. They're hiring. If you guys want to work here. But this is the location where it all went down.
Yeah.
This is a MGTOW moment for every man that's under the height of 5'8".
Right. Yeah, that incident that went viral a few days ago. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there. We got Bob the Monkin. Good to see Bob. Bob, we are going to talk a bit about that man. His name is Cecil, by the way. At least that's the name he has on his YouTube. Cecil Says, and we're going to go over that video. I'll play it a little excerpt of it for you, but from his own words, because one of the things I noticed, at least about that story, is nobody really understood or got the context of it. Most people were just saying, "Oh, look, it's a short, angry guy," and I don't know, like they weren't. For example, if you saw Owen Benjamin's critique on it, him being a height supremacist. He basically just really cut the guy down, saying, this is what happens this is what short people are like. But we can give you the context because the guy made a video of it. He made a video.
Well, guys, I'm in the parking lot. I'm going to grab a little Dunkin' Donuts coffee and then head back in the other direction. And then I want to get a little bit closer to the Bagel Boss, but there's people inside making bagels for tomorrow right now because it is Saturday night.
Right.
Sunday's a big bagel day. So I don't want to get too close. And the guy was looking at me like, what the fuck is he doing? Because obviously this place is really, really popular right now. And we're going to get into a little bit about Bagel Boss. I'm going to give you the dirty on Bagel Boss. Tell you a little bit about background on Bagel Boss, the origins of Bagel Boss, the origins of bagels themselves, where Zoroastrians brought these to the tri-state region. And so just give me about 5 minutes. I'll talk to you. All right.
All right. And in the meantime, I will play that video for you guys in a minute here. I'll just kind of set it up. We're waiting for Lamprey to get back because we wanted to kind of just the whole Bagel Boss incident happened right around the corner from where he's located, and so we thought it would be cool to have him just appear at the scene of the incident. We got Sleeping Elephant in. And we got
scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Ground zero, MGTOW, last stand. 5 foot nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
3 Rogans tall.
3 Rogans tall. You know, it's interesting because if you guys haven't seen it, this really short guy went viral, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but just in case, I'm going to recap it because we will watch it and actually listen to what he says. And then we'll discuss kind of what the inner workings of what really went on in that incident. But if you didn't know, so this really short guy went into Bagel Boss, the place that we showed you where Lamprey just was. And the video just starts with him screaming and yelling at people in the lineup. And those people were sort of, you know, he looks like he's acting way out of line. He's screaming. And one of the things he screams, and we'll listen to it, his own words, but he screams something about 5-foot men on Tinder. Women say they should kill themselves, that kind of stuff. So basically, he's shouting at the top of his lungs, saying how he doesn't like these dating sites, and it has to do with his short. Women don't like short people, etc., etc. And that he lost it, and then he gets attacked. He gets attacked by some guy, large guy, who tackles him and chokes him. And he, and he deserved it. He was in his face. He was threatening him. He was even calling him on. And so that ended the episode, was with this big guy on top of him. Now I'm going to play for you guys Donovan Sharp. I don't know who Donovan Sharp is, Pete's, but maybe I'll take a look. But anyway, I'm going to play from his channel. He has a channel, so I'll share. Let me just get it set up here. Where is he? Yeah, there he is. Okay, so he has a channel called Cecil Says, and most of his content, he's got more subscribers than I do. He's got almost 10,000 subscribers. Anyway, he mostly talks like comic book stuff. But anyway, let me play it for you. I'll share the screen. All right, now listen, watch this and then listen to what he says.
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead? That's okay?
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that shit up? Everywhere I go, I get the same fucking smirk with the biting lip. Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss. Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside? Huh? I'm not scared of you, pal.
I know.
You shut up, too.
You shut the fuck
no,
up.
Go ahead and attack me, big.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I just wanted bagels. I recorded the whole thing.
All right, before we hear his commentary, so it said Donovan is a red man group. They went downhill recently. Yep, check out his take though. Okay, so anyway, if you guys saw that, let me know. Make sure you guys saw it and heard it. But basically, so he's basically saying, oh, women treat short men like shit, and he's not wrong. He's absolutely right. All right, and then he goes on to this tirade, and then he gets attacked. I want you to notice a couple things. There's no context there. All we see is this short man getting angry and then kind of blowing off steam, and rightfully so. This is the thing. When you're that short of a man, it's difficult to navigate through life. I understand it. I feel sorry for the guy. But without the context, you had a couple white knights there, to impress the women. I'm going to take down this yelling short guy because I'm a white knight and that's what I have to do, and injure him. So without the context, we don't really know what happened. I'm going to play the rest of this is his channel, right? And these are going to be his words. Listen to what he says, okay? Give me a second here. Okay, listen to what he says.
Hello and welcome to Cecil Says. Unfortunately, if you've read the title of this video, you know what I'm about to talk about. My throat actually hurts. Obviously, you've seen the video. Hopefully, it's blown over by now. But I had an altercation this morning at a bagel boss. That guy choked me. My voice is not so good. I had an altercation at a bagel boss in Nassau County. I won't say exactly where it was, but it's where I get my bagel every day. I get a bacon, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel. And this morning, one of the girls got cute, and she kept saying, "Oh, sure, you don't want a mini bagel?" And I said, "No, sweetie, I don't want a mini bagel." And then she asked me again, "Do you want a mini bagel?" And then the girl behind the counter went off, and it just triggered me. I think they said it like 3 times. Because of my height, and it triggered me, and I went a little crazy. I'm sad that this is the way I always planned on doing a face reveal. I'm sad that this is the way it happened. I don't want to be seen in that kind of light. I'm not a misogynist. It's just it was a bad day, and I was being picked on, and I went a little crazy, and then I figured now I better get ahead of it. I don't know if it's blown over, but I've seen it on New York Post. And
All right, I'm going to stop it there. That's pretty much the rest. He kind of just goes in and talks about how he got attacked, and one of the things he says is, you didn't see on the video, but I got a few good punches in on the guy that hit him. Whether or not that happened, who knows? But I'm going to go back. Hold on a second. So listen, basically, he goes into the store, he's minding his own business, he wants to buy a bagel, and the fucking thoughts behind the counter start making fun of his height. Asking him, don't you want a mini bagel? Don't you want a mini bagel? I mean, it's pathetic, man. So in the end, it's a couple of fucking immature, horrible thoughts behind the counter. And the thoughts make fun of him, and he loses it. He just loses it. He's gone. He pushes him over the edge. Now imagine what that guy's been through. The thing about height, when it comes to it, it's not something he can help. He can't change it, right? And what you have was a bunch of thoughts picking on a short guy. That's to me is the most pathetic. If I was there, I would have supported him, and I probably would have offered to take him to a different bagel shop because he's losing his mind. But that's the problem. You can't. Why would you attack somebody for something that they can't control? All right. You can make fun of fat people because they can actually change that. But a short guy, what can he possibly do? He can't change that. Women are short. You know what they do? Wear high heels. Men can't even do that. So it's pretty pathetic. You there? You there, Lamprey? Okay, Lamprey is reconnecting. But yeah, that's this whole incident. Like I said, it just got a lot of people. It was out of context for him, and they didn't quite understand it. I don't think the guy behaved. He behaved poorly. He shouldn't have been there. But most of us can't understand what he's been through, really. I just these fucking horrible thoughts making fun of his height. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. So
All right. So I'm back from Bagel Boss.
Yeah, I played the Cecil Says video in his own words, and I made some comments.
I didn't get a bagel.
You didn't get a bagel?
I didn't get a bagel.
Oh.
Yeah, I was listening to what you said. I was driving. So a little bit of a kind of a history on Bagel Boss. Bagel Boss is a very popular bagel joint on Long Island. I think they're a chain. There's a very long line every day at that location. It's very popular with teenagers, very popular with young 20-year-old, very popular with millennials. It's popular overall. And in today, the last few days, if you went into Bagel Boss and you happened to mention that you saw the video, you got a free half a dozen mini bagels.
Damn. Like, how big is a mini bagel?
It's small. It's about a quarter size of a regular bagel. Have you ever had a bagel before?
Oh, of course, of course.
Okay. A lot of people don't know what a bagel is. It's Jewish. It's a Jewish delicacy. Yeah. Not a delicacy. It's just bread. It's a very heavy bread. Yeah. It's a bit of an art to make them. It's not easy to make.
Yes.
As I went there, I wanted to get a little bit closer to let you guys see that it happens to be the actual location. But there's 3 people working right now, and they work until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning making bagels for the next day, because usually it takes a very long time to make bagels, and there's special machines to make them and everything. But anyway, Bagel Boss, the counter people are very nasty. They're very rude, just because of the volume of people that visit the place, and it's because of the volume of people. They're not there to say hello, how are you? It's like, what do you want next? What do you want next? Okay, moving on. Right. And because the line is so long, I'm going to safely assume whoever was behind Cecil, which is not his real name. His real name is slipping my mind right now.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that there were some young kids behind him cracking jokes about his age, about his height. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the premise. That's kind of the background. when I first saw the video, I came home late from work, and my stepbrother comes running over. Did you see the video? What happened at Bagel Boss today? I go, what are you talking about? So he plays this video. I'm like, oh wow, that's so great. That's cool. This guy's standing up for himself. He's sick and tired of thoughts making fun of him, and I'm like, I go, that's really cool. Unfortunately, he got beat up, but about maybe 20 minutes or a half hour later, I get the alert from Owen Benjamin's channel that he uploaded the video. I go, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious right now? And it went completely viral, right, shortly after that.
That's right. Well, and you heard what his spiel on it. Owen's spiel was basically, this is why I hate short people. So, that he's going to get... And Pete says, yeah, I agree. How lame would it be to be 5'0"? Yeah, of course, man. And again, there's nothing the guy can do. It's not his fault. Like, why would you? And I understand that a lot of people that have to live with being that short would probably develop some kind of hard skin and a complex. You'd have to in this fucking world. So I don't blame the guy at all. At all.
I found it to be very distasteful that Owen was ripping on someone's height. You cannot make fun of someone for things they can't help. That's low.
Yes.
That is very fucking low. Yeah, let's make fun of someone with schizophrenia. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. We're not talking about we're talking about just a short guy. We're not talking about a tranny or a sodomite. Those people you can make fun of.
Trump lost the handicap vote when he made fun of that guy's fucking, arm.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It was funny, though.
But anyway, I reached out to Cecil Says to see if he would come on the stream and talk about it, but he hasn't responded. So, who knows? Don't even know if he got the email.
I'm sure he's very popular right now.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Yeah, for sure.
It's really nice to see the support he's got. I see comments, I see the likes. So it seems that he got a good amount of support from people for what he did. He was Italian. He's not a Jew. It's also saw that comment quite a bit. Is he Jew? What is he? He's Italian.
He's Italian. He's not a Jew, people.
Mm-hmm. Only Italians would freak the fuck out like that. So I understood his pain, his hurt. The person that recorded the video was a young woman named Olivia, and she happens to be bisexual with the LGBT pride flag on her Twitter page.
The one who took the video?
Yes. So I'm going to assume the reason why it went viral was trying to paint this guy as a bigot racist, because he has other videos that he's uploaded the last couple of years where he's cursed and screamed at minorities, basically also making fun of his height and stuff. Since then, he's deleted some of those videos, but so I think this was kind of like a lynching, like a kind of a NPC lynch mob to attack this 5'0" guy. But the backlash was that most people actually supported him, which was not what the left's intention on making this video go viral.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually looking at the comments too. You're right. There is a lot of support for the guy.
People have had it. He had it. He's sick and tired of women's nasty attitudes.
Yep.
He's sick and tired of being made fun of. Obviously he's got a lot of pent up anger because of the way he's been treated by women, and that's why he should be MGTOW.
Yeah, absolutely. Guy needs to learn about MGTOW. That might help him. It might help him control the rage he has inside of him. But yeah, you're exactly right. And I want everybody else to understand that too, is that, as MGTOW men, you guys all here, you should be able to sympathize with the guy and understand. I mean, just the toxic environment of dating sites, the women in the West today. Do you think no woman's ever respected that man except maybe his mother? So
right.
So how what do you expect him to do? He said, quoting him in the video, he said, "Is it okay for?" He goes, "I see that every day on the dating apps. These women telling me to go kill myself or to die." You know, it's pathetic, man. And when you understand that, us men here understand that. We know what he's talking about. We know what he's going through, which is why, yeah, I'm just glad to see that a lot of people support. That means that sort of MGTOW principles exist in the culture out there. Okay, they do exist. So that's good news. Good news for us. Anyway, you have anything else to add on Cecil?
He's a nerd. He has a channel based around comic books, based around fantasy, based around fiction. You know, if you saw his first video he put out regarding the matter, he did not intend for these things to unfold the way they did. And it's also important to note that because everyone has a smartphone now, it's instantaneous that you're able to see these things transpire. I mean, for fuck's sakes, this happened really close to my house, and Owen Benjamin's uploading it from Washington State.
Yeah. That's the that is the condition of the world today, Andy.
And he could have, and I know we're talking about Owen Benjamin. He's a popular character now. I mean, he's got over 250,000 followers, and he kind of folds into this realm of MGTOW, going by his followers. Most of his followers probably are subscribed to MGTOW channels. He could have spun this in a totally different direction, yet he spun this as a hatred toward short people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very sad. I knew he was going to do that, though. I didn't even have to watch it. I predicted that, and it was true. It did come to pass.
White supremacy.
No, he brags about that. He's completely proud about it. I was watching him scream and yell earlier today on his stream, and there's 4,000 people watching his videos at a time, and there's tons of trolls, and it's hilarious because he just loses it. And you can't moderate a 4,000 person stream, man. You just can't do it.
Oh, I got banned.
You got banned. That's right.
I got banned.
Yeah. Hardy's in. So it's good.
Hardy, congratulations, moving back to Canada, man.
You back? He's back already?
I don't know if he's back yet, but he's making his way back now. He's finally calling it quits in Southeast Asia after a quarter of a century.
Yeah. He says, Hardy says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Was an incredibly popular thing from the 70s, but if you're a short guy in 2019, you're supposed to just know your place and shut the fuck up.
That's easy for you to say, Hardy. You're 5'11", almost 6 foot.
Right. Well, still.
So you don't know what I go through. I'm 5'8".
Right.
I mean, that's offensive.
I mean, 5'8's the average height, I think, of a man in North America. Like your average height, right? So.
Yeah, I think 5'8's average.
Yeah. Slaughterhouse is back. Good to see you, buddy. Where have you been? Learning about gin, I guess. And oh yeah, by the way, remember, you guys, if we follow Owen Benjamin's playlist, you're all cocks. Remember that. We got Smurf cock, cartoons
Hardy
cock.
cock.
Hardy cock. Hardy cock is in. Cartoons cock is in.
Slaughter cock.
And of course, elephant cock. He's in there. Slaughter cock. Yeah. So, yeah, and you're right. Like I think 5'8" is the average height of a North American male. So, you know, if you're on either side of that, you're still kind of in the average range. You know. So, there's very few 6'8" people in the world.
Well, he made it into the New York Post. He was in the local paper. Even the papers didn't rag on him that much. Just paper was just, you know, stating the obvious on what went down and stuff, and they interviewed him, and he said that a lot of women want to date him now because the video went viral. So he said this video is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Wow, that's great. That is great, man.
So, like I said, I think that the social media left was going to try spinning this as a misogynist, bigotry, and was probably going to attack him because there are other blogs that uploaded his other videos in the past about him being, making fun of black people, making fun of people from the subcontinent Asia. They were people from India or Pakistan or whatever. He was ripping on them because some dude from 7-Eleven was asking, how tall are you? And he went ballistic on this dude from Pakistan working at 7-Eleven. So some dude from the left who worked for CNN was, uploaded all of his videos onto his blog site, his news feed, showing how much of an asshole he is and stuff. And it just the people didn't take the bait, basically, is what happened.
Messenger cocks in. What are we talking about? Tiny men? Yes, tiny men. Tiny men getting angry about bagels. But,
so it's a spectacle, man. This is just a spectacle in modern American society. That's why we titled this video Spectacles and Bagels, a society of spectacles and bagels. Because, again, here is a guy who went ballistic in a bagel store, and now it's all over the United States, and it's probably going around the globe. Mind you, it's really if this was in let's say if this happened 10, 15 years ago, this is a non-story. It would be on barstool.com or something like that.
Right.
And no one would ever hear about it. I mean, it would just kind of like float around on Instagram or whatever. But again, some way or another, this became a huge ordeal. Mm-hmm. When in fact, it's really, truly not a major ordeal. And that's kind of the whole point of tonight's live stream, is that how did this become so popular?
Yeah. Well, nowadays what they pass off as news is incredible. Absolutely incredible. What people tweet becomes headline news. It's insane. And it's the spectacle of mundane. It's really bizarre. Really, really bizarre.
It's like a gossip column. It's very feminine.
Yeah.
You're talking about no news.
Yes. Yeah. It's very feminine. Journalism has become very feminine these days. It is. It's like gossip. What people talk about becomes what people tweet about, I suppose I should say. It becomes headline news. It's insanity.
Changes the market. Changes everything. I mean, Trump tweeted 2 days ago that Bitcoin is bullshit, and Bitcoin crashed over a tweet.
Wow. It's incredible.
Hit the likes.
You got Twitter is toxic though. You don't want to go on Twitter, man. You just don't want to be there. It's horrible. It's like it's a field of junk and misery. Absolutely horrible. I mean, I can't go on Twitter anymore. They banned me. I can't even make another account and go on. Like, I'm done. Completely banned. Bob the Monk.
Nice going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great though. I'm glad. Didn't force me to have to quit it. They just kicked me off. Bob the Monk not racing tonight, eh? Who's racing? What's he talking about? Anyway, Messenger's in, and he mentioned the ice cream licking. We didn't get into ice cream licking. We didn't get into
Again, no news.
It's not new. Yeah,
it's retarded.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the Korean lady pissing in the ice cream machine too? You want to talk about that? That happened in Florida. No news.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think he sent me that article. Fuck, I don't think I have it up though. But yeah,
there's no point in you even talking about it.
Yeah, there's no point in even talking about it.
The problem is that there's so much other things to be discussing right now. Instead of this, how about we talk about how Russia just supplied anti-aircraft missile defense system to Turkey. These two countries have a 300-year history of hating each other, yet Russia is now supplying missiles to a country, to an adversary of the past 3 centuries.
Yep.
What's going on there? That's huge, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about how the United States government, both the left and the right, both Republican and Democrats, have removed quotas on the EB-5 visa. I sent that to AM. So more Chinese money is going to be pouring into the United States now. Yay! Yay! But you're talking about the wall. You're talking about deporting 2,000 illegal immigrants. Like, that's even a fucking dent in the illegal immigration problem. 2,000 people. You should be deporting millions. At the very same time, you're now removing quotas and caps for the EB-5 visa.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that because this is kind of gets into a little bit of unfamiliar territory for me. And immigration is such a different issue north of America in Canada because I think the population of Canada is like 35 million. I mean, that's probably the whole state of New York. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So there's just so much space here. It doesn't really, unless you kind of go through it with a fine-tooth comb, you don't see the same issues that you do in America with the immigration. But yeah, you sent me that article. House passes per country cap elimination bill that affects employment-based visa programs such as EB-5. Explain to me EB-5.
Well, we covered that during the immigration Thought World Traveler. We covered it, and it's basically this is the lucky visa that it allows basically, for the most part, Chinese nationals to get visas to the United States where they can park their money in real estate. And now there used to be a quota on how many people are allowed in, and they've removed it. And it was a landslide. Both the Republicans and Democrats supported this. At the very same time, the mainstream media is talking about building a wall and the deportation of the illegals.
Right.
So it's kind of like a double speak. Okay, great. You're deporting X amount of illegal immigrants, but at the very same time, you're removing quotas and caps on visa restrictions.
So it's up from 7% to 15%.
Oh yeah, so more than double.
Yeah, more than double, man. That's crazy. So you're right. Yeah, it is. They're talking out both sides of their mouths when it comes to immigration. I don't think there's no agenda to really stop it. It's actually quite the opposite. It's in Canada too. I think they've let in the last couple of years. They've let in, what was it, like 30,000 Syrians into Canada, or was it?
That's good. That's going to work out well.
Yeah, yeah, I know, man. But I was on the topic. My neighbors, like I think I've mentioned this before, but a lot of my neighbors are Afghani, and one of them's been here 9 years, the other 7 years. Very nice guys, very, very nice guys. I asked them if they would ever go back, and they said, no, you can't go back. You can't go to Afghanistan. It's fucked up. So these guys, they love it here, and they have like 5 kids each. So, 20,000 or 20 or 30,000 Syrians in a few years becomes 5 times that number, man.
Right, it's going to be like 100, 150,000.
Yes, because they don't stop reproducing, man. It's incredible. I don't know about the laws in the States, but in Canada, the more kids they have, the more money they can get from the government.
Yeah, it's same here.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. So that's something to think about, when they're letting.
But meanwhile, the 5'0" has no children, and he can't get a girlfriend.
No, he
but
can't.
We'll laugh. Well, he's the clown. He's the spectacle. Let's all point and laugh.
Yep. No, he won't be able to reproduce, that guy. Well, maybe. But
he's 52. The guy looks like almost 60.
Yeah, he looks pretty old. It's hard to tell, but he's probably reached an age.
I think I've seen him. To be quite honest with you, I think I've seen him around town.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty short. I mean, that's you definitely are going to spot a dude who's 5 foot under. Yeah. If he's under like 5'4", it's noticeable.
Right. Yeah, true, man. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I doubt he's probably not going to reproduce, and he's the clown. He's the spectacle that we point and laugh at.
All because he's alone.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He can't get laid, ha ha, ha ha. And that's what they're all laughing about in that bagel store.
Yep. Yeah, the spectacle often is, like you said, like what do we this has become the spectacle that we look at. And in the end, what is it? It's shaming a man. It's the public shaming of a man. Very few things have changed, you know.
He can lose his job now. He'll forever be known about being the guy that got his ass kicked inside a bagel store.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. That's why I don't condone male shaming for any reason. This world is shitty enough as it is, man. Which is why, you know, I don't. When I saw that stream, all I could do is go, man, that poor motherfucker. But
well, going back to the whole Owen Benjamin thing, I mean, he's been on. He's getting he's getting way too cocky. I think a lot of the Vox Day bullshit is rubbing off on him now. I think that's part of the thing that I've noticed. He cannot take punches. That's one thing Owen Benjamin cannot take is a punch. No way can he take that. I mean, he's going off on this guy Nick Fuentes. I don't even know who he is.
No, neither.
But he just spent 3 hours ripping on this dude because Nick Fuentes didn't agree with him on something. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's retarded.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Pete says news happens, but just isn't covered. This world is changing kind of satanic quickly.
Yeah,
that's one way to say it, man.
Well, if we take a look at our backdrop tonight, it looks like a bagel with bodies.
Explain that. Explain that to the viewers.
Zoroastrian Tower of Silence in India. And I thought it was appropriate. It's something I always found that picture I found it fascinating. I've had that picture for a really long time saved, and it's got that pit, that dark hole in the middle, and it's got all the bodies laid out, and basically vultures pick the dead corpse, and all the blood and fluids drain into these channels, and all the blood and fluid goes into the circle, the pit, and that's kind of what it is. And I'm using that backdrop as a bit of a metaphor for the spectacle of our society, where we all kind of give into the spectacle as we're doing tonight.
Yeah,
we're talking about it.
Yeah. Okay.
We're one of those bodies. Okay. Aim's body's got a vulture picking his eyeball right now. I'm missing a leg. M's over there, whereas the vulture's picking on his intestines.
Yeah.
And it's a good metaphor for where we are as Western society crumbles. I don't know. It speaks a lot to me. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard of that. I didn't know that was a Zoroastrian tradition. I did not know.
Yes.
That.
Tower of Silence.
Yeah. I knew about it, but I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't pick up the Zoroastrian connection. But yeah, they leave their dead out to be picked, their bones picked clean. They don't...
by vultures, coyotes, whatever.
Yeah.
The hospital brings the bodies there. They put them. There's areas for each body, and each body is laid out in a specific manner to make sure that all the fluids and everything go into that pit. And there's other pictures of what's inside the pit, and it's mostly just bones and carcasses and stuff like that.
Jesus, that's that's society. That's the spectacle, man.
The spectacle. So down in that pit is, now we have Sissels down in the pit. Who are other victims of the pit at this point? A
lot of men.
Right?
Yep.
People that just get abused. I mean, Trump is on his way to the Tower of Silence. The Zoroastrians are bringing him up there as we speak because he's become such a sellout at this point.
Yeah.
In the news also is the country of France wants to impose a tax on the FANGs. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. Okay? And the so France wants to impose a tax on these mega corporations, and Trump is out there saying we're going to retaliate, we're going to sanction France now. Amazon's applauding.
Jesus.
Yay, Trump! Yay! Well, wait a second. Why can't France dictate their own tax policy? Why does it have to listen to the United States? I thought we're separate nations, but obviously Trump is in favor for open borders, if that's the case.
Yeah, it's the global spectacle. It's the global well
Correct.
of silence.
Global bagel.
Yeah, it's the global bagel, man. Yeah, there is no sovereignty when it comes to a nation anymore, that's for sure. Everybody's stuck on the same bullshit.
If Amazon's celebrating it, you know it's bad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There was one article, and this is part of the global bagel, is what's happening with the sexualization of children and just gender politics. That is part of the global bagel, and it's spreading, man. It's not just in the West anymore. It's spreading. It's terrifying. I see articles in the Jakarta Post that I often read. I like to read the Jakarta Post because it's a popular English newspaper from Indonesia, so I kind of can see what's happening. What makes the headlines, and the headlines of that paper too. A lot of it is just spectacle, man. It's goddamn spectacle. It's gossip and bullshit. But I do read an article every week or so that is supporting LGBTQ in Indonesia, right? So it's spreading. That twisted mass is spreading through the global bagel. As you sent me this article, Lamprey, it says the kids in New York City schools can now change their name, gender, without legal documentation. You remember that one?
No, go on, get into it.
Okay, let me read some of this. Yeah, there is no end to this. Trust me, there is no end to this. This is a runaway train. It's got no brakes, man. The sodomite train is not about to stop anytime soon. This is part of the agenda. It says students attending public schools in New York City will now be able to change their name and or gender without any legal documents to back it up. Chancellor Richard Carranza announced the most comprehensive affirming guidelines for supporting transgender and gender-expansive students on June 28th. The new rules still require students to get parental permission to make any changes and will go into effect the coming school year, according to New York City Department of Education press release. Carranza, whose tenure has come under fire recently for alleged anti-white racial discrimination. Jesus Christ. And the new guidelines are to ensure that students' identities are affirmed, respected, and supported in schools. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio's wife. Is de Blasio a sodomite?
Oh, speaking of de Blasio, right now there is a massive blackout in Manhattan as we speak. Times Square is pitch black, and so is downtown Manhattan, and no one knows where Mayor de Blasio is. No one knows where he is. There's a blackout. Half of Manhattan is in a blackout, and no one can find the mayor.
He's in an alley somewhere.
No, I'm dead ass. They have no idea where he is. It's all over the news. They have no idea where the mayor is.
Jesus Christ.
So, speaking of this, the whole anti-white bias thing, that's been in the news the last couple months regarding this individual.
Carranza.
The Western thought is now getting a taste on what it's like to be disposable. And these white teachers who have worked for the New York City public school system for decades are now being purged, and they don't like it. Well, you carried the torch. You were the useful idiot to promote this insanity, to bring in Chinese, Indians, Dominicans, okay? And now they don't like it, and now they're suing the city over it.
Yeah, the white thoughts are now expendable.
Yeah, it's correct. And this is I sent you two other articles regarding it. Can
I got
you pull
it.
them up?
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. New York City schools chief accused of creating environment hostile to white people. This links to what we were just talking about, but it's this Carranza person. Uh, it says a quartet of veteran DOE white female executives is set to sue the city due to Chancellor Richard Carranza's sweeping reorganization, which pushed aside Caucasians. You remember, and like you said, it was the white thoughts were at the front lines of the stampede. You know, when
They're promoting white genocide of themselves.
Yes.
And now they're getting a taste of it.
Yep. It's like the French. It's like the French women during World War II when they started sleeping with the Germans, and then when the war ended, they fucking strung them up.
Well, now that Manhattan's becoming more and more less, well, it's diverse, just with no white people.
Right.
And now that the school districts are predominantly brown, they're purging the white female teachers because there's already no white male teachers. They were long gone decades ago. Okay. And what also happened this past month is some type of assemblywoman bullshit. They were handing out flyers for the next assemblywoman for New York City for New York, and it was a white woman versus a Hispanic woman, and the white woman lost, and they're all shocked. They're shocked that she lost, just like how they were shocked that AOC won and AOC beat an Irish dude. Okay,
Yeah.
And now what's transpiring in the city of New York is an outright purge of anyone of Western descent.
Right.
And then this is now they're getting the thought is getting a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah. they're getting left behind like everyone else, man. They're going off to the gulags. They thought they were safe, but now they're going off to the gulags.
Correct.
King of all MGTOW is in. Hello, King of all MGTOW. Hi from Ontario. Finally caught your show live. Good to see you, buddy. You will be King Cock. But anyway, yeah. Back to that story. This is basically. Do you think they have a case? Do you think that anything will come out of this?
Yeah, you can't do that. But again, we're living in a clown world. So for all we know, it could be the courts can be like, "Yep, it's okay, it's acceptable. Goodbye."
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know what the rules of the statute of limitations. Not statute of limitations, but I really truly don't know what laws are acceptable or not anymore because of the social justice movement.
And the social justice movement, if we mentioned before, is started by who?
Zoroastrians.
The Zoroastrians. Behind the social justice movement, as you know, are the same people that invented the bagel, the Zoroastrians.
The bagel comes from Poland. Sovereign's messaging me right now, telling us to freshen up on our live stream. He says Cecil's real name is Chris Morgan. You guys need to brush up on your stuff before you stream. And bagels come from Poland, originated from Poland.
What? The Zoroastrians didn't invent bagels? I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked.
And everything bagel's my favorite. A toasted everything bagel with butter is just phenomenal. Great bagels. You guys should really check out Bagel Boss.
Yes. And we're not sponsored by Bagel Boss. No, the Polish invented the bagel, but it was really adopted and became a thing of the Zoroastrians, pretty much.
We throw ourselves into the pit. I'll meet you at the Tower of Silence.
the bagel of silence.
I would love to see that place in real life, man.
Yeah, where is that? That's northern India, right?
North India, yeah. It's like in the jungle of North India or some shit.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to go over with some of these articles that you sent me?
Yeah, let's keep on rolling. What else did I send you?
You sent me okay. Now you're sending me a lot of New York stuff. One of them was the 2019 primary election results.
Yes, that's what I was just mentioning. Pull that up.
Okay, so the 2019 primary election results Caban?
I don't know.
Yeah, Caban declares
Hispanic name.
Yeah, right. Declares victory in Queens. DA Lewis prevails for city council and more. Okay, so public defender Tiffany Caban, I guess, and is she what is she, Cuban or something, or Mexican? She's Hispanic of some kind. Declared victory in the crowded, competitive Democratic primary of Queens District Attorney on Tuesday night, though Borough President Melinda Katz did not concede, instead promising to see every vote counted, despite the fact that the numbers appear to make Caban nearly impossible to overcome. A primary win would set Caban up to win in November in the overwhelmingly Democratic borough and become the first newly elected Queens District Attorney in almost 30 years. So
So it's a Western woman who's had power for a very long time, doesn't want to let go of the power.
Nope.
And this other woman, the Hispanic woman, what was her name again?
Caban, Tiffany Caban.
Caban. Now, when I was walking the streets, you see, the flyers being handed out for both the Western wench and the Hispanic wench. And on the Hispanic wench, endorsed by the New York Times and AOC.
Oh my God.
Yes. Okay. And I guess the Western wench didn't see this coming, and she's throwing a hissy fit over it. This coincides with the situation with the New York City public schools, where there's a purge of Western women.
Yep. Yeah. So they're not safe in the schools, and they're not safe in politics. The Western thought woman, her power is being relinquished, and is not happy. And if you look at the picture in that article, there's a bunch of people holding up signs behind this Caban lady. Says prosecute ICE, abolish ICE, and there's obviously an LGBTQ flag behind her.
Oh, of course, you got to throw that in.
Incredible. God, what a shit show. It is a fucking spectacle, man. But if this lady's guaranteed to win.
Yeah, overwhelmingly Democratic too. I like how they slipped that in. Who's the Republican? There is no Republican. It's gone.
There's no Republican.
I keep reminding people at work. I go, well, who's the other? Is there another party here?
Right.
Oh, okay. And I just walk away. Oh, do you know who the other party is? Do you know a name? Oh, okay. And I just walk away. That's it. I don't get into politics. I just say, where's the opposition? Oh, okay. Is this a good thing or a bad thing that there's only one party here? That's it. So New York is forever Democrat at this point, and it happened overnight. Basically, once the left gains power, they just don't let go of it at this point. As you can see with California, California had a Republican governor, which was Schwarzenegger, not even 10 years ago. And New York State had Governor Pataki, again, not even 10 years ago. City of New York had Bloomberg, who was a Republican. There's never going to be another Republican mayor for a foreseeable future until something really bad happens. Then you'll see a major shift in the paradigm. It has to be, economic collapse, another terrorist attack, or something like that for another party to ever regain power in the state of New York or California, for that matter.
It's dead. It's over, I guess. California and New York, they're getting their bones picked clean.
They're in the Tower of Silence.
Yeah, absolutely. I was hoping to actually go visit California next year, but it'll depend on how busy I am with my business, so I doubt it. I really doubt it. There's a couple other things that you sent me here. Unless you got anything else you want to say about that?
No. I just wanted to mention what's happening, the spectacle that is transpiring in regards to the state of New York between bagels and Western wenches being purged.
Yeah. And bagels are a very New York thing because there's a lot of Zoroastrians in New York.
You can't get bagels anywhere else besides New York. It's never the same. Bagels here are fantastic. You can't get a good bagel anyplace else. Or pizza.
Not even in California?
Mm-mm. It's something to do with the water. I don't want to get into it. I'll save that story on why. It's something to do with the water. The Jews have, because there's a lot of Jews in Florida, and they have a lot of money, naturally, Jews, and they have their second homes were in Florida, that they actually tractor trailer water from New York down to Florida to try to make bagels in another state.
Jesus. And speaking of Florida, you can't talk bad about the Jews there anymore, man. You'll go to jail.
Zoroastrians.
Yeah, you can't. It's insane, man.
Yeah.
Don't talk bad about bagels in Florida, people.
Don't talk shit about the bagels.
No.
How about bialy? You know what a bialy is?
No.
It's like a half-assed version of a bagel.
Oh, okay.
It's like a different. Yeah, I'll tweet you. I'll send you a picture of what a bialy is.
Okay.
I wanted to do it's a society of spectacles and bialys, but I'm like I don't even know how to spell bialy, so I didn't even bother.
Is it like a mini bagel?
It doesn't have a hole. I'll put it to you that way, and like all the seeds and stuff are in the middle of this little flat piece inside the middle of the bagel, and it's much flatter.
Okay.
I'll get let me get half a dozen bagels, 2 muffins. You guys got any bialys?
Is that how they say it?
You always get stuck behind some construction worker who's ordering food for all the crew.
Right.
So he's sitting there, he's ordering like a million things, and you just want one bagel, and this guy's got to rack up like $150 bill, and you're just sitting there on the line forever because this one fucking asshole. It happens all the time here. Some Funyuns, let me get 10 coffees, let me get a quarter ounce of salami.
Oh, shit. But yeah, man, you can't say anything bad about the bagels anymore in Florida. That's insanity. I mean, talk about clown world, man. I don't know where the hell that's gonna go, man. I have no idea. But that was
could be.
Huh?
I still got bagels, so it could be worse.
Could be worse. Yeah, it could actually be a lot worse than that. I wanted to bring up a couple more things here. Hold on a second. Let me.
Pound the thought, guys. Hit the like button. Come on.
Yeah. I want to talk about this. Okay. This is an article about you've heard about Robert Foster, right?
No.
No, he's been in the news, man. Okay, let me read the article for the listeners. This is obviously the article that I have here is basically a left-leaning article for sure. Anyway, the title is "A Sexist Republican Just Gave the Supreme Court Exactly What It Needs to Legalize Sex Discrimination." Now, if you know, I'm surprised you haven't heard about this. Mississippi state lawmaker and Republican gubernatorial candidate Robert Foster refused to travel with a reporter covering his campaign because the reporter is a woman. You never heard about this?
No, I saw it, but I didn't bother clicking on it because it just sounded so ridiculous.
Okay, but this is MGTOW shit, man. All right. I mean, this is directly related to the condition of men today and the Me Too movement. Let me continue. The reporter Larison Campbell is one of several journalists from the outlet Mississippi Today who asked if they could shadow Republican candidates running to lead the state. Both of Foster's opponents agreed to this arrangement, although the reporter assigned to cover their campaign happened to be male. Foster, however, refused to allow Campbell to ride along with him unless she was accompanied by a man. And then it goes into Twitter. On Twitter, Foster later explained that he discriminated against Campbell because of an arrangement with his wife. All right, so he's saying, I don't want this woman in the vehicle. I don't want this woman shadowing me if she's not accompanied by a man. Why do you think he's saying that, man? Do you think it's just because
she could pull a Me Too? She can start spinning this into some type of leftist bullshit. Mm-hmm. So there has to be a guy there.
There has to be a witness.
To be aware, exactly. So this is Islamic.
It's
is it not?
it's Islam. I know. That's why.
I know.
That's why I was laughing about this, man. Like, okay.
You need a chaperone, sweet pea.
Yes, that's exactly, man. So okay. Let me continue reading. So it must be very sad to be in a marriage. Okay, this guy's making fun of him about his reason. He's like, hey, my wife. That's not the. That's my part of the reason. Like, I'm married, but you and I both know. So he says, it's very sad to be in a marriage built on such a foundation of mistrust. He's like, oh, this guy's is in a horrible marriage because he won't allow another woman alone with him in his car. Come on, man. So they're trying to bully him into making him put his life, his marriage, and his career at horrible risk. I mean, this is insanity. And the whole Me Too movement, who are the champions of that movement?
Well, the Zoroastrians at the Tower of Silence.
Yeah, Zoroastrians at the Tower of Silence.
But they're not silent. They're not silent. They don't shut the fuck up.
No.
You should do this. You're just a misogynist.
Yes. But close behind them was the North American, the most privileged class to ever exist in the history of mankind, is the North American white thought. Okay? They were right there.
The 21st century flapper.
The 21st century flapper, absolutely. Right there behind the Zoroastrians from the Well of Silence. They were screaming and yelling at men that they're predatory. 25 years later, they would say, oh, by the way, this guy touched me inappropriately 25 years ago. And that was enough. Just the statement alone was enough to ruin a man's career. Reality. Now it's coming back to bite the fuckers in the ass. Okay? So now men are going, you know what? And this, I love this story because this is a high profile guy. Let me read a little bit more. Imagine, for example, that a female campaign aide asked to ride with Foster because they wanted to share an idea for how to improve Foster's stump speech. That aide would be denied this opportunity, while a male colleague with a similar idea would be allowed. Absolutely. Such an arrangement violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which provides that employers may not discriminate against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Well, guess what? Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is going to get flushed down the well of silence very soon. I guarantee you that. Now, the reason, again, like I said, this to all the listeners out there, the reason why I found this so entertaining and just laughing is that this is basically brand Islam coming to us without the actual name of Islam. Woman wants to go out in public, needs a chaperone. I mean, that's happening in many of the brand Islam countries like Saudi Arabia. No woman, you can't drive alone in a woman, you can't meet a woman alone. Pretty soon, that kind of segregation, it's coming back and it's going to exist, man. It's Islam. It's incredible. I just chuckle. This is part of the spectacle that I like to just chuckle and laugh at. And the person writing this article is definitely on the side of the bagel worshipping Zoroastrians, 100%. And they just can't understand.
Did you just say bagel worshipping?
Yeah, yes, I did.
That's very good.
The bagel worshipping Zoroastrians, man. They, the author of this article is on their side, and he's like, how can this happen? Another thing that this Foster guy said was that not just because of his wife, but because it's his religion. He used religion as a kind of a crutch to kind of push him away from being forced into a situation where he might lose everything. Because all that fucking woman has to do is get out of the car, and not even that day, that week, that month, 3 years from now, maybe after he's in a higher position of political power, She can just come and go, "Oh, he grabbed my tit when we were in the car that one day,"
Right.
and
Yep.
and there's no, and he can't. How is he going to prove that he didn't? Because you're guilty until proven innocent in this fucking bagel worshipping Zoroastrian world we live in. You know?
Well, he's going to wind up in the Tower of Silence along with Cuban Gooding Jr.
Yes.
And who else is up in there right now?
Oh God, Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. That's right. We got who's the other one? Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's
He's still alive, Johnny Depp. I mean, the vultures are circling him, but he's still alive.
Yes. And this is the thing too, is those are just the high profile men. All right, we don't hear about the regular guys like you and I. Where are they? They're not on the news. They don't make the paper, but it's happening, and they're probably impossible to employ. Maybe they're in jail, right? So this Foster guy, what he's doing is, I think it's beautiful. I hope more and more men start doing this. Refuse to be put yourself in a compromising position with the woman unless you can somehow have either video evidence or a witness to be there. Oh, and speaking of witnesses, in Islam, and again, this is going to happen to the thoughts, the bagel worshipping thoughts, or the followers of them.
Bagel worshipping thoughts.
This is what's going to happen, man. Is in brand Islam, in the religion of Islam, and if you go into any of these countries, it becomes part of the law, is that a woman as a witness is only worth half that of a man. You need 2 women.
Right, we're one step away from that at this point.
Yes, we're one step away of where a woman is considered half of a witness compared to a man. You need 2 women as a witness to equal 1 man. And that's happening. And they wanted it. This is what they wanted. And now they're pissed off that it's starting to happen.
Right, so feminism is undoing itself.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And we are leaning towards something more totalitarian. Like I said, you're innocent. You're guilty until you're proven innocent. Forget civil rights. It's not going to exist anymore. Okay, and this is exactly what they wanted, but they didn't know they wanted it, and now it's here.
It's gonna be like some type of quasi-Islamic. Well, I wouldn't call it Islamic, but a quasi-Quranic law that's going to run parallel to the social justice warrior insanity.
Yes. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can see that happening 100%. You have to counter this somehow. Every time I think a crazy woman's going to come into my office, I always call one of my coworkers who's a male to be there as a witness. I always do that, just protect myself.
Yeah, and when I finally open my doors to business, I'm not going to hire women if I can avoid it. I'm just not going to do it. Of course, I won't advertise that. I won't put a sign on the door that says no. If you're a woman, need not apply.
No thoughts allowed.
No, if you're a thought, no need to apply. All right, I'm not gonna advertise it, but I'm gonna try to maintain that because, and of course, there's cameras everywhere, so there's not much I can do. But I just don't. If you can avoid the possible headache, why not? Right? And obviously that's what this Mississippi Republican politician is doing. Good for him.
Well, there's always been, this kind of ties into the whole anti-Southern Dixie culture attitude. Andy Nowicki's covered it very well. There's always been a hatred towards the South, stemming back to the Civil War, for fuck's sakes.
Right.
There's always been some type of attack on the Deep South. And I think this thought who wants to go with this Republican gubernatorial candidate was a way to again subvert Dixie culture. Mm-hmm. And he was not going to fall for it. He's not stupid, and he's kind of following in the footsteps of Mike Pence, where he refuses to do one-on-one interviews with women.
Mm-hmm. That's good. The other thing too, when you think about it, is that he has the right to choose who to hire. And that's basically what they're doing. I'm gonna hire. He made it public that he didn't want to be alone with a woman, which is great. But in the end, he's not breaking any civil rights. He has the right to hire whoever he wants. Okay? It doesn't.
There's no quota for just one individual.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And there's no quota for one individual, and you do have what in the United States what they call freedom of assembly to a certain degree. You know, so I think the guy has every right to do it, and I know why it's happening, and I think it's smart, and that's it. It's going to keep happening, and we are going to get some kind of semi quasi Islamic laws coming in, man. I'm telling you, I can't wait. Actually, fucking can't wait.
What else you got?
There's a few other things that you sent me. I kind of want to go over.
Do the one with Indonesia.
Which one? The bankers?
The bank.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I bought a goddamn subscription to these guys. Or I made an account with these guys so I could read the whole article. Hold on, I have to log in.
Likes. Hit the likes.
Hit the likes, guys. Subscribe if you haven't.
Pound it.
Pound it. We've got a lot of people lined up that we're going to be having on in the next few months ahead. So
pound me too.
Pound me too. Okay, so the article that I had too. This is related to Indonesia, and it's related to bagels. It's related to bagels, so to speak. The headline is "Bankers Quit Jobs Amid Rising Hijrah Movement." I'll explain what that is in a minute. It has been more than a year since Zainur Rusdi, 38, left his job as deputy head of a state-owned bank's branch office in North Sumatra, over the fear of the danger of riba, which is usury, interest, that he learned from preachers on the internet. Okay, remember, Indonesia is a very Muslim country, although it's very it's run kind of secularly, but its dominant faith is Islam, biggest in the world. He put an end to his 13-year banking career. 13-year banking career in April 2018 when he was leading an office worth 400 billion rupiah, which is 28.3 million US in assets, and had 10,000 customers. Think about that. Zainur now works from home, running an online business and helping his wife operate a beauty salon for Muslim women. Now, this is him. It started when I watched a video on the danger of riba, which is basically usury. Okay, that's the Arabic word that if you read the Arabic in the Quran, it'll use that word riba for usury. It's often translated as interest or usury. The danger of riba from Erwandi Tarmizi, I guess some guy he saw, a Muslim preacher on YouTube. It was early 2017. And Zainur found himself delving more and more into anti-usury campaigns on Facebook and Instagram, especially through the sermons of social media savvy preachers. When I was working at the bank, my wife kept going in and out of the hospital, but they couldn't identify her illness. Like, get this. It was one of the signs mentioned in the sermons, so I was even more inclined to quit. He said, arguing that he had been cursed by God given the nature of his work. His colleagues, regretting the end to his promising career, suggested that he move to the Sharia division of the bank. Zainur refused, arguing that the Sharia division was no different from the conventional bank. If anything, it was thanks to the help of the conventional bank that it could thrive. However, he still has an account at a Sharia bank. He had used up all his severance pay to pay off his debts, completely cutting ties with the conventional bank. All right, so that's one guy, right? One guy's story. But there's this huge movement happening, and again, thanks to the internet, you see these in Indonesia. These men this guy dedicated 13 years of his life. He made good money, and then he started kind of going, okay, but I'm a Muslim, and usury is a sin. You know, usury is a sin, but I'm making a career out of it. Then, and they're, Indonesians are very superstitious people too. So his wife's getting sick all the time. He sees it as a sign of God. These are very God-fearing people. And he quits, man. Cuts off all ties. He quits the Jewish, the bagel industry and walks away, man. And now he's making much less money. That's incredible. Incredible. I mean, you got any opinions on that, Lamprey?
I think it's just a good reaction because you see the plethora of cheap, easy money being poured into developing nations, and they know one of the biggest ways, one of the footholds to get into the developing nations is through the microloan. I saw this explode in Cambodia while I was there, the concept of the microloan, where, you know, they kind of start teaching and conditioning Asians to accept loans with high interest rates. And a lot of the Asians don't know how this works. So they see money and they don't know what's attached to it.
They end up in debt.
They end up in debt, right. And, you know, I really don't know how microloans work. I just kind of got a bit of a bird's eye view on it, how it operates and stuff. But, you know, the idea is if you give them microloans, they're able to develop their infrastructure, and it's able to promote commerce for Asia, where a lot of the corporations and multinationals can get into these countries.
Yeah.
So I think this is somewhat of a rejection of that coming from Indonesia. Now, mind you, Indonesia, for the most part, is a little bit more developed than, let's say, Cambodia and Laos.
Right.
But, you know, because there's always been a hatred towards Indonesia. It's the most Islamic country in the world. I mean, it's the largest population-wise. Right. Not so much on the Sharia side, but again, the promotion of Obama. Obama lived in Indonesia. Obama had a trainee, what was it? A trainee maid, housemaid, babysitter.
Yep.
Right. So again, this goes back to an attack on the Islamic world, and for that nation and for Malaysia, it's through the usury.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the Arab world, it's through the bombing and maiming.
Yep.
And through the Catholic countries, it's the promotion of sodomy.
That's right.
So you see, it's for each region of the globe, there's different ways of attacking them. And when it comes to Far Asia and Southeast Asia, it's the promotion of the developing nation that you need to accept these loans, you need to accept the monetary easement, you need to accept the IMF, World Bank, those type of things.
Well, I was going to say too, it was in '98 in Indonesia when Suharto fell, right? Remember, he was 32 years, quote unquote dictator, if that title fits. Longest running, I think, until now. Now I think Cambodia is longer. But anyway, when he fell, I mean, this was all by design. He was put in and he was taken out. And as soon as he fell, the value of the Indonesian rupiah it became worthless. Indonesian money was worthless. Everybody fled. All the Westerners fled. That was in '98. And then what happened is after the currency became useless, the IMF came in, bought Bank Indonesia for nothing, and then generated and created a middle class based on usury, debt, riba. And that generated, it boosted the economy and generated, artificially boosted the economy, and it generated I guess, almost artificial middle class. It still exists. They just handed everybody credit. Said, you're not poor anymore. Now you're in debt to the bagel worshippers. Right? So, I mean, that's the history of it. And it's not even that long ago, man. That was '98. Right? And so now people are trying to walk away from it. And they're doing it because they fear God, which is a very powerful motivator. Did they already talk about Logic Wins? Did they already talk about Bagel Man? Yes, we did. Logic Wins. We talked about what was his real name?
Give me 1 second. One moment. His real name was Chris Morgan.
Chris Morgan was his real name.
It doesn't matter what his real name is. I don't know why Sovereign was like, yeah, you have to tell him his real name. His name on YouTube is Cecil.
Cecil
You
Says.
can look him up. Yeah, Sissel says, and going back to this whole spectacle, is why is this story going viral? And I point to it as this was a flop by the left to try to, paint this guy as a misogynist, racist, bigot, xenophobe, yada yada yada, and it backfired because the person who recorded the video and tweeted it was pro LGBT pride and identified as a like a 20-year-old bisexual hot little thought.
Was she attractive?
I don't know. I didn't look at her picture.
Oh, okay. I don't.
She's young. She's white. You get the idea.
Right.
You get the point.
She's young. She's white. So eventually, she's going to be shipped off to the gulag.
She'll be disposable in the New York City public school system. Yes.
Yeah, she'll be disposable in politics, the public school system, and pretty soon she'll need a chaperone everywhere she goes. She'll need a male chaperone. And then the next step after male chaperones is the burqa, man. Why not? They love it. They love to promote it in the LGBTQ.
Well, look, if we go down Australia's path where you look at a woman for more than 15 seconds, it's rape.
That's right.
You know what?
Yep.
You should just cover up then.
Exactly. That's where we're headed, gentlemen. Male chaperones. It's very Islamic. It's very, very Islamic. It's insane. And eventually, if you can get Me Too'd for looking at a woman wrong, then there's the only solution. And the Muslims understood this. The only solution is to cover them up. If you throw a bag over all the women, then everybody's safe. Everybody's good, right? That's where we're headed.
That would definitely lead to the desexualization of society.
Yep.
And the society would be much healthier.
Yep, absolutely. You can't parade through the streets naked in front of children if you're covered in a fucking bag, right? So, Almost Christian is in. I saw Cecil's videos about it. I thought he was being sarcastic. I was subscribed to Cecil for a while. He has legit funny videos. I think he was being sarcastic when he was talking about how he punched the guy in the shins. I think he was trying to be funny, but he honestly did break down because the women behind the counter teased him about his height.
It was either the people behind the counter or the girls behind him. It was
both.
One of the other.
It was both, because he said that the girl behind the counter said, "Oh, are you sure you don't want a mini bagel?" And then the girl laughed. And then, of course, then everyone joined.
That's so fucked up.
It's fucked up, man. And then everyone joined the chorus. I'm sure the women behind him did. Everybody smirked and laughed, and he lost it. He lost it. So, don't have no fear. Pretty soon, those women will be covered in burqas and have to go everywhere with a male chaperone, because that's what they want. That's exactly what they want.
What was that? Cell phone?
Yeah, that's my phone. I usually take off the sound.
Who's calling? Messenger?
No, it's not Messenger. I don't know. It's some notification.
We got to get Messenger on. Do an unprotected chatter soon.
Yeah, we should. We should get him on. Yep.
Is he still eating Costco food?
I think so. Yeah.
Did you tell him I love that food?
Yeah. It's incredible too. He took me there, and it was like this secret.
It is a secret. He's 100% right. Dude, he's so true. Dude, it's so under the radar that no one knows about how good Costco food is.
And it was like $1 for a foot-long hot dog.
You should get the hot dog. Hot dog.
Yeah.
Yes, the hot dog. The pizza's really good too. The pizza's good. And the frozen yogurt. Banging, dude.
Yeah. It's like the best-known secret. He's like, this is where I always go to eat. And we walk in through the exit, right? You can't go through the entrance. You got to walk in through the exit. And
you don't have a Costco card? You should get one.
Yeah, I don't have one. He doesn't have one either, but you don't need one to eat there, man. You just walk in through the exit, right? And then go straight to the food court and eat. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, dirt cheap and very good.
Do they have bagels?
I don't think so.
No.
No, they don't have. So there's not as many Zoroastrians in there. I want to go over a couple more things here. This might be kind of dipping into a different topic here, but I mean, the rest of the articles I think that we have basically fit in. They tie into the same. The one, one was the Independent article you sent me. You remember that one?
No, what was it?
Okay. So we're gonna shift focus now, guys, from bagels and politics to something completely different. The other side of the bagel. The other side of the bagel.
That's the non-seeded side of the bagel.
The non-seeded side of the bagel. The underside of the bagel. Okay, the dirty side. This article from the Independent that Lamprey sent me today is giantess and cuckold porn surges in popularity among Brits. Study.
Oh, I forgot all about that. I wanted to cover this. Yeah, yeah. So this is kind of deep. Before getting into it, we did the show Shooting Up with Porn. It happens to be one of our most popular live streams, but we didn't really I was kind of unprepared discussing it.
Yeah, we didn't get too detailed.
I did want to get more into pornography a little bit more with you, because I've been subscribed to this. Who the hell? Economic? What is his name? Son of a bitch. He covers MGTOW stuff quite often. 1 second. What's this guy's name?
Luxury Charlie or whatever his name is?
No. It's son of a bitch. No, I sent you. Here he is. Economic Invincibility.
Okay, right. Yeah, you mentioned him earlier.
Okay, so he did this thing about pornography and I think cucking. And when I did the stream with Molyneux, where my first claim to fame getting onto YouTube, where I was dating a prostitute for 4.5 years. Okay?
Prostitute is a loose term. I mean, that's not.
She received hard cash in her hand.
Yeah,
how's that?
I guess a prostitute, but not. It's not in the same way that you think of a prostitute in the West, though. But anyway, yeah.
So the thing that if you were to read the comment section, most people called me cucked.
Right.
And I didn't know what the term meant. And I was like, what the hell is this? I don't really know what cuckold means and stuff. And it was premise this a little bit. That, mind you, I was out screwing everything also. So she was going to go in and do her own thing also. She's not going to sit home and cook me fried rice and while I'm out screwing half of Cambodia. She was not going to tolerate that. Right. So she went out and did her own thing. Okay. So it was a bit of there was jealousy and all that involved. But the thing that I took away from it is, and listen to Economic Invincibility, is, does pornography promote cuckoldry?
Yes, it does. 100%.
So that's where I wanted to get into this topic tonight a little bit.
Yeah, well, let's go from there then, because I've done a video. I did a video. My most popular video ever that I did in the past was on cuckolding.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, it got up to 20,000 views, and then YouTube ripped it down. So I think I can see it, but it's not to public. It's been locked as private, so it still exists, but I don't know. It's on my backup channel if it's still up. But anyway, yeah, that was one of the most popular videos I made, and in that video, basically what I did was the term cuck and cuckolding was becoming more and more prevalent on the internet at that time, and what I found was a lot of people. It's been taken over. Like, the definition of it now has a new meaning.
Oh, it's just a joke now.
Yeah. It's just.
I tell it to my boss all the time now. I go, "You cucking me, bro?
Yeah.
You cucking me, making money?" He said, "What the fuck does cuck mean?" And I had to explain to him. He's like, "What the fuck are you? You got fucking issues, man."
It's a pejorative now. It's just a pejorative that you call someone to insult them. But the root of the word cuckold comes from the cuckoo bird. It comes from the animal kingdom, because the cuckoo bird, what it does is it will lay its eggs in another species' nest and force that species to take and raise its born.
Ooh.
And then when the bird hatches, it eats the other eggs of the other species. So that's where the term comes. It comes from the cuckoo bird, and it's just a practice of that species in the animal kingdom. It forces other birds to raise its young. All right, it doesn't force them; it tricks them into raising their young. So that's where, and it's the cuckoo bird. That's where cuckold comes from, right? And it then from there, the term actually meant when a man is unwittingly raising another man's child, which is very, very common, where a man thinks it's his, but it's not. It's someone. It's another man's kid, and women will do that. Women will trick other men into raising another man's child, and they see nothing wrong with it. They don't see any kind of moral issue with it, and in society in general wants men to not feel like there's any kind of violation happening. Seriously, I mean, I heard fucking, and these are the things I can't stand about Owen Benjamin. He is a fucking cuck in the pejorative sense of the term, because in the last stream I watched, he said, even if it's not, this is not an exact quote, and you can go back and listen to it if it's still up, but he said along these lines, like, even if it's not your kid, you need to man up and raise it. I'm just like, fuck you, man. I'm not going to raise another man's kid. And in fact, I could if I wanted to, or any man can choose to do that. But if a man says, fuck, I don't want to, he shouldn't be shamed into that crap. That's the definition of cuckold, the real true definition of it, right? And it happens. So then it started evolving or devolving into pornography, and it became some kind of fetish. And it does, in a sense, it does honor the real definition of the word to a certain extent, because in porn, what it means is that the man is watching another man fuck his wife or girlfriend, and it's turned into this sort of pornographic fetish, okay? And it often involves humiliation of the man. So when it comes to porn, that's the pornography term of it, but the true meaning of it is a little bit different. But I mean, you were called a cuck because you didn't give a shit that your prostitute girlfriend was fucking other people for money. Correct?
Right.
Yeah. And it's so,
I guess that is a form of it.
That's a form of it. It's not like, it doesn't really truly define what cuckold means. A true cuckold is a man who unwittingly is raising another child, and he thinks it's his.
We're talking the pornographic term.
Yeah.
Where you're getting off and allowing your spouse, a significant other, go out and screw everybody.
Yes. Yeah. And it often has to do with the whole concept of cuckold is in the pornographic sense, is to actually witness it happen, right? To watch it. That's the fetish, right?
Well, I think when it comes to pornography and how the mainstream media is promoting it as it being healthy and stuff, I think what they're trying to do is separate the concept of monogamy and start promoting polygamy.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Polyamory, polygamy. They're really pushing for that. Absolutely.
Orgies, gangbangs.
But it's not even polygamy in that sense. That's polygyny.
It's more of a loose moral.
Yeah, it's polygyny if it's many men and one woman. It's polygyny. It's polyandry if it's many women and one man, which is the common practice. Polyandry is practiced in a lot of different cultures, but polygyny is very rare, very, very rare, and it doesn't function. It doesn't work. Polyandry works. It actually can function in a society, in a more patriarchal driven society, but polygyny, where it's many men and one woman, it can't function. And the number one reason why it can't is biological, because no man will know nobody will know whose child it is. Mm-hmm. The father will be completely unknown. It's very, very harmful. It's a very harmful practice. But the bagel bakers that run the world, that's what they want. They don't want strong patriarchal family values. They don't want that. So cuckolding works perfect for them. But in the pornographic sense, this article that I was reading is saying that it's what is it? Let me read. The largest pornography site in the world, Pornhub, has just released its annual year in review for. This was 2017 article, so I imagine it's gone up even more since then. It revealed increasing numbers of Brits are searching for giantess. That's a new one though. I never heard about giantess, and cuckold porn. Last year, 4.599 million hours of porn were watched, and that's pretty sad too. Just that number itself across the globe. That's equal to a mind-boggling 5,246 centuries. Jesus Christ. The site had 23 billion hits, 64 million every day, and 729 every second. Not for the first time. So anyway, the point of the article is that the terms cuckold has increased. The fetish of cuckolding has increased. And one of the things that one of the reasons why I think cuckolding has become a fetish is because of porn itself, because porn is voyeurism. And I think we mentioned this in our porn stream, is that pornography is voyeurism. You're watching someone else fuck. Okay? So what happens to men is if they're constantly watching pornography, if they're conditioning their mind through that, they're jerking off to porn, so they're conditioning their mind to that very powerful endorphic release of an orgasm, and they're conditioning their whole body and mind to feel extreme pleasure at watching someone else fuck. You see, it's absolutely natural that a cuckold phenomenon is going to come out of that. Pretty soon, you're going to condition yourself so much into this pornography that eventually, all these men are like, oh, I think I'd like to watch my girlfriend get fucked or my wife or whatever. And it becomes more and more of a fetish among men, and it becomes more acceptable in society. So that's one of the dangers of porn, man. And that's exactly where I think cuckolding is coming from and why it's on the rise. The very fact that pornography exists is why it's rising.
Read a little bit more about the article.
Okay. Let's see. Some eyebrow-raising niche fetishes were revealed to be on the rise. Giantesses and cuckolding, searches for which increased by 354% and 94% respectively. Lesbian remains the most popular search term. MILF and stepsister were second. More men than women continue to use Pornhub across the globe. Nearly a quarter of UK visitors were women. When it comes to age breakdown, 2/3 of British porn viewers are millennials. The research revealed, that's true. It's getting, E. Michael Jones said about that. Like now, kids have it on their phones, and it's pretty sad.
It's instant access. I mean, I can just go. I can go to Pornhub right now on my cell phone.
Yeah, anywhere, anytime, and it's frightening. And that's pretty much the article. Talking about how cuckolding is on the rise when it comes to porn searches. That fetish is becoming more and more popular. So, I don't know, man. I mean, it's because all these young men are.
Well, pornography has the ability to block out reality.
Yeah.
It's a dream. I mean, in a lot of ways, pornography. In a lot of ways, it's better than the real thing. In a lot of ways, where you get to jerk off and fantasize about a beautiful woman, but at the same time, she's not screwing you; she's screwing another man.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with pornography, my brother used to joke. He says, "Porn goes stale. Like you're gonna want to keep watching a different video all the time. You never want to go revisit an older video,
mm-hmm.
And you always want to get different angle, different view, different cum shot, different positions, all these type of things, and that's why a lot of men who download pornography, they have gigabytes worth of porn, right? So the other thing when it comes to porn is what you mentioned in the article, the stepmom, stepsister.
Yep.
Again, you're kind of screwing a family member.
Yep.
Or the MILF, or it's always got to be this taboo
Incestual.
appendage to it. Yeah, incestual. You know, even though it's they're actors and actresses, air quote, if you want to call a porn star an actress, right? But it's like you want to see the taboo.
Yep.
And if you were to go back to pornography 30, 40 years ago, that was not the case. Yeah, there was a MILF, you know, there's stepmom, you know, but now you see this promotion of it. It's even more of a promotion of these taboos and these immoral sex acts. And I thought it was kind of strange when watching this Economic Invincibility. He goes, well, you're already jerking off to a woman having sex with another man. What's from stopping you saying, let me see it in real life? And he made that point in one of the videos he made. He's a good channel. Mm-hmm. He's I don't know how old he is. He looks younger than me, and he seems to be very arrogant, which I don't. He talks a lot about himself and how great he is, which I don't really like, especially when it comes to YouTube personalities. I don't really find that to be very. It's off-putting. I don't really like when people do that. You know, his approach, his monotone way of talking. But overall, it's a pretty good channel. He's very anti-MGTOW, which is also something to, you know, make a point, making that point. So yeah, I just wanted your take on it, some of the listeners' take on this idea.
But I mean, do you agree with his opinions on cucking? Cuckoldry?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see it happening. I mean, I'm pretty jaded after my experiences in Asia with women. So I you know, moving to Asia, I wanted to try to get more clarity on women's hypergamy and the way relationships work. Mm-hmm. Leaving Asia, it's left me even more jaded. That's what's brought me to MGTOW, you know? Mm-hmm. So, I use porn as a utility. It's kind of just there, you know. So, you know, well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, go on.
Another thing cuckolding does, at least in the sense of the fetish or the porn sense of cuckolding, is that what it does is men have always been the minority of the population, and one of the reasons is men don't live as long, and there's a lot of reasons they don't live as long. When a war breaks out, it's all the men that die, right? So what happens is you're even increasing the female value even higher, inflating it more than it actually is, because it's already tough enough for men to pair off and find a mate. Now you have the women cucking all these men and leaving you know, people like Bagel Guy out to dry, man. No, it's really bad.
Well, he's got no choice but to watch porn.
Yes, yeah. Almost Christian says, I call him Molly Jew. He's talking about mauling you. M Steer 132, the cuckoo you are referring to is in Europe. It's called the common cuckoo. That is what is represented in cuckoo clocks from Germany. They are nest parasites. Yes, they are.
Where are they from? Australia?
No, Europe.
Europe, okay.
European bird. Yeah, the common cuckoo. He said is the name for it.
But
yeah.
The question is how damaging is pornography for males? Now, I don't see it being as bad as, let's say, what E. Jones says, or Owen Benjamin, or for a lot of trad cons for that matter, because if men were actually to have the real thing, there would be no the porn would be not as prevalent in our society.
Well, we all know who runs the porn industry.
Well, I understand that, but at the same time, we need to acknowledge that, you know, women are not putting out for the average guy. Mm-hmm. So pornography becomes a default.
Yeah.
It becomes, you know, again, it becomes a utility for men. You know, I watch it maybe 10 minutes before I go to sleep, and then I call it a night and I'm out, right? Mm. So, you know, I don't know how much of a long-lasting damaging effect that has on me. Probably doesn't help. I should be fasting from it, trying to, the no fap challenge again. But even those things are kind of ridiculous. I mean, this whole idea of, it's, if you jerk off, you lose testosterone, it makes you docile, blah, 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 blah. That's very subjective. Okay. That's an extreme position, because jerking off or having sex, you're still ejaculating. So, I don't see it being, this idea of losing testosterone, losing manhood, air quotes, watching pornography.
Well, it is a very powerful energy release, and it's something that that it shouldn't be abused, man. In my opinion, I think it is. I think it is bad for men to I mean, it's and it gets worse the more that you do it. It gets worse the more that you do it. I'm not a prude, but I would suggest that men try to avoid it as much as they can.
Well, you should challenge yourself and not watch it for an extended period. You should, but then again, I've mentioned this to you in previous live streams. Is okay. Let's say if I don't watch porn, I'm just going to use my imagination. What's the difference at that point? It's just the ease and access of it. Sure, it may take me another 5 minutes to nut. In pornography, kind of saves me time, in a sense. So I don't really, I understand the attack on pornography. I understand the ramifications of watching it. But at the same time, men that are watching pornography, you're also less likely to go out and engage and speak to women. So it becomes, you don't have to deal with the rejection. You don't have to deal with a lot of the time and bullshit and emotions dealing with women when you can just watch pornography and call it a night.
Yeah. Well, we're oversexed culture anyway, man. Way oversexed. Everything revolves around sex, and it's dangerous, man. Jesus, pornography was one of the reasons that brought Hitler into power, for Christ's sake.
Right.
He was like, what the hell are these bagel guys doing?
But at the same time, the countries that consume the most amount of pornography are the ones that are most sexually repressed. We can call the United States being sexually repressed because the over-sexualization has led to sexual repression. And also in the Arab world, where men don't have access to women, right? And a lot of pornography is consumed in the Arabic countries.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is like way high on the list.
I doubt that it's as much as America. I mean, hold on.
Well, it says England is like the ratio for England is like top 5. There's whole statistics on the in that article if you.
Oh yeah. 20 traffic countries. Top 20 traffic countries are United States, United Kingdom, Canada, India, Japan, France, Germany, Australia, Italy, Brazil, Mexico, Russia, Spain, Philippines, Netherlands, Poland, Sweden, Argentina, Belgium, South Africa. There's no Saudi Arabia on there.
No, it's not on there. I've looked into it. It is very high in the Arabic, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, those countries. It's very high.
Well, also, you got to remember some of these countries don't have great internet connections.
True.
So you got to have the internet if you want to click on Pornhub. But the time spent per visit, the #1 country was the Philippines.
There you go. Well, they just pop. All they do is they fuck all the time. That nation. I mean, Pope. What did the Pope say when he went to the Philippines like 3 years ago? Stop fucking and stop fucking like jackrabbits.
They're very Catholic there.
Yes, very hardcore Catholic country.
They actually crucify themselves on Easter.
That's hardcore, dude.
I know, man. That's fucked up.
Well, Pope Francis made some great speeches in the Philippines that the media doesn't want to talk about. He said, stop taking money from the West. They're using it as a form of colonialism and imperialism. Mm-hmm. So he says, don't take books from the West. Don't take money from the West because they're using that to enslave you.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the this whole thing about the pornography debate and listening to Economic Invincibility. I've been on a tear watching all of his videos. Some of it's very good. A lot of things he discusses we've covered on this channel. But again, the idea that pornography is utility for men that have no access to women or sex for that matter, because you can't really. Prostitution's illegal, okay? You can't really go out and meet someone. A lot of men are stuck living the basement dwellers, okay? Stuck living with their parents, right? Women don't want to hear that. So, again, the easy default is to watch pornography.
Yes, it is an easy default. I mean, I just, Almost Christian says, I'm subscribed to Economic Invincibility, and I have seen said video. He may have a point regarding porn. I mean, I just think that we're way too over-sexualized as a culture, man. It shouldn't be that much of a goddamn priority. In my opinion, that energy is better spent on other things in a man's life. Self-improvement. Again, I'm not going to pull an Owen Benjamin and say, get married and reproduce, and that's makes you closer to God, because that's just not the reality that we live in today. But I do believe that that's energy that is better spent in other avenues of a man's life. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think the whole concept of watching women on webcams and those type of things, retarded, stupid. Don't do that. Some of it is out of control and ridiculous. I mean, I sent you Ramsey Paul covered it, and I mentioned it to you before. Ramsey Paul mentioned about this woman selling her bath water.
Yeah,
It makes $150,000 a month. $150K.
Unbelievable.
Just for being a thought.
Yeah, that shit's got to stop, man. And honestly, porn is aiding men in going down that route. But
Correct.
it's very, very sad.
I agree.
You know, don't pay Instagram thoughts money, gentlemen. Don't do it.
Well, the thing that I mentioned, and Owen Benjamin actually finally mentioned it, and I mentioned it a long time ago, why is pornography free?
Yeah.
It's the red flag.
Yeah.
If it's free, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Nothing. The bagel worshippers don't do anything just for free, man.
Correct. Bingo. So that is a major red flag. And E. Michael Jones, during his lecture in Iran, his first story he said was that Israel promoted pornography through the airwaves to keep the men docile in Palestine from them leaving their houses.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a political weapon, that's for sure. It's a weapon.
What else did I send you regarding the whole concept of cucking? I sent you a couple things.
There was another one describing the psychology, cuckold psychology, the psychology behind the cuckold fantasy. I've heard a lot of bizarre stuff about kind of where it's coming from. I just honestly think it's because there's pornography's flooding our culture. That's why it exists. That's the number one reason it exists. These people will say that there's like a psychology behind the fetish because they compared it.
Yeah, the Freudian argument and stuff. I've read into it. It's a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Well, one of the things that it mentioned in the article was that it could be compared to cuckolding can be compared to sadism or masochism in a sense that it is inflicting pain on yourself, but it's psychological pain.
That's ridiculous. See, I don't agree with that.
No.
I mean, maybe for some men that is the case, but I think that's kind of an extreme view. Look, everyone's different. Everyone's got their own, in particular, issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like you say, like a foot fetish. Is that really a fetish? Like I don't really know. I mean, being shitted on would be a fetish, but like to say, do you have if you like tits a lot or you like ass a lot, is that in fact a fetish?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has their own proclivities.
Well, God, if you just to quickly sidestep kind of into the religious lines or spiritual lines, if you go back into history and religious history, the one vice that always had cultures become destroyed was sexual vices.
Right.
It's the number one vice that will destroy a culture are sexual vices. And sexual vices come from not using moderation or containing sexual energy. You know, there's no modesty, there's no morality when it comes to sexual energy, and then you get pornography, and then fetishes are born from that. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. You know, I mean, look at homosexuality or sodomites, or you know, just the whole gender dysphoria. This is all because of sexual vice, and it just continues to be more perverse and more perverse and more perverse. It's out of control. And that's when societies crumble and fall. You know, so honestly, you can't, I don't know if it can be stopped, but you can stop it as an individual. That's really the only power you have. Because it's getting out of control, man.
Well, here's the other way of looking at it, okay? I think cuckoldry, like, and gang banging and all these other type of things, it's probably very common in, like, let's say, the continent of Africa. So let's say, you know, I don't want to call Africans closer to fucking animals or monkeys or whatever, but, you know, we know monogamous relationships are not that popular in Africa, right? And they probably don't have access to pornography, but they probably have access to watching women have sex with a bunch of men, right? So I also, with that being said, I also think that since television and the internet and pornography is such a new concept, we don't really know what the long-term ramifications of these things really truly are, because it's such a small snapshot in time for us to really measure what truly are the issues at hand. So I equate that the plummet in rape in Western societies has to do with a lot with pornography.
Yep.
Is that if there was no pornography, the sexual release would for you to be going out and groping women and raping them.
That could be seen as a positive effect of pornography, but I think the best way to look at it is that there are benefits and harm, perhaps, but the harm outweighs the benefits.
Yeah, I'm not denying that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've heard that too. That rape statistics dropped when pornography became more accessible. I don't know how accurate that is, but I have heard it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you're talking about something where you're talking about a vice whose harms far outweigh its benefits. You know.
But what exactly is the harm?
Well, you're encouraging sexual energy to become a vice for you, right? And then from that, more and more, it only becomes more and more depraved, man. I mean, when you
it's depersonalization, because you don't know anything about that woman in the video. Also,
yeah.
When in fact, I covered this with you, that most porn stars have traumatizing childhood.
Yes, you know, I was watching an interview. The last interview. Have you ever watched the last interview with Ted Bundy, like hours before he was put to death? I think they fried him. He says in this interview, and one of the strongest points that he keeps pointing out again is like, pornography was a big part that led me down the path I went. Pornography. All right, one of the most prolific serial killers, and if you go study the psychology of most serial killers, they all have some kind of sick sexual fetish, and it's brought to life through access to pornography. That's a fact. It's dangerous, man. It ultimately is dangerous. When your sexual energy is unbridled and not held back by kind of morals and self-control, it eventually goes out of control. It becomes a very powerful vice, and it affects the minds of the people that are a victim to it, man. It's the reality. That's the reality of it. It's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. That's the fact.
Well, if you want, you can pull up a little bit more statistics and information on it.
On what, cuckolding?
Yeah.
Well, I don't. I just have that one article that's related to the Pornhub searches. The other one that was in there was giantess, and I'd never heard of that before, but that's pretty bizarre.
Elephantitis.
Well, it's macrophilia, lover of large, for people who are aroused by the thought of having sex with others who are significantly larger than they are. Bizarre. I never.
That's very strange.
Yeah, it's a fetish of having sex with a giant woman. Bizarre. But again, like, there's no limit to sexual deviancy and degeneracy. There's no limit to it. If it's unbridled and you don't contain it, there's no limit to where it'll go. You know, that's the danger of it, man. Part of our culture now, it's like fucking men are women, women are men. It's diseased and twisted, man. I'm telling you. But I mean, the only other article that I got from you was the one on the psychological explanation. And again, I mentioned that it's about turning pain into pleasure, and I don't know, you know, I think it's more than that. I mean, psychology, after all, was as a soft science that was basically pioneered by the Bagels. You know that.
Well, I can honestly equate coming back after having sex with, you know, a large amount of women. They take sex way more seriously now versus prior to me moving to Asia. And a lot of it, Jones kind of equated it, what I said too. It's about reproducing, really, at the end of the day. It's really not supposed to be recreational.
No, it's not.
And the economic invincibility says, oh, it's recreational, it can be fun, yada yada yada. But after going through what I did and hurting a lot of women's feelings, excuse me, and you know, really just, I don't say damaging women that I've had sex with, but you saw, you know, a lot of women that I was hooking up with really truly wanted to be with me, and I'm just like, I kind of just used and discarded them, and I not that I felt bad about it, but, you know, I remember this one time I go into one of the girly bars, and there's this new girl. She probably worked in a garment factory. She's fresh off the boat. She can't speak a word of English, and her friends that speak English are there, and they're trying to hook me up with her and stuff. And she was all like bright-eyed and all excited, you know, that I'm sitting and talking with her and hanging out and stuff. And then through, because my Cambodian wasn't really all that good, through translation was like, I'll buy her something to eat, and, you know, I'll take her home. And mind you, she was only there it was like her first night ever working there. So I took her out to eat, go back to my place, I have sex with her. Unfortunately, her body was not what I was expecting, because in Asia they kind of like wear like girdles and push-up bras and stuff, so you can't really see. Everything looks really nice silhouette, and then once you get her into your house, you know, the girdle comes off and you see just like just a sack of sad. And you know,
you ruined her.
And yeah, it ruined it for me. Like, I was like, okay, she's not what I was expecting. You know, her body physique was not what I was expecting. So I got done. I gave her what she wanted. I drove her back. I drove her home, actually. I remember where she lived too, now that I'm thinking about it. And so I maybe a couple days roll by, and I go back into the bar, and she's there, and she's hysterical crying. She's so upset, and her friends tell me, oh, she's really upset. You know, she really wanted to be with you and stuff like that. And she quit. She quit the job after her experience with me. That was it. Like a week and a half, she was done, out, gone. And you know, I soon, after that experience, I'm like, okay, so this is really not a good thing what I'm doing. And I started feeling guilty about basically what I was doing on a bigger macro scale.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand, man. I understand. And then it can change your opinions and your outlooks about sex, definitely.
Well, it's left me more jaded with women as a whole, because at the same time in Asia, the hypergamy is much more overt. Mm-hmm. It's a money me now.
Yeah, money me now.
It's a money me now country. And then when I come back to New York, And if you'd like, I think I sent you this article. Check your Google Hangouts, where women now are using men just for free dinners.
Ah, yeah, I have that. Hold on a second. A third of women only date men because of the free food study.
I've been a victim of this more than once.
The results are in. She only wanted to try that hot new restaurant. A new study published Friday in the Society for Personality and Social Psychology journal found that a quarter to a third of heterosexual women have gone on a date with a guy they weren't interested in just for a free meal. Foodie calls can happen when money's tight, the grocery store is out of favorite frozen meal, or a must-try entree is just too extravagant to justify, when the tab comes out of your own bank account. Two studies, the first conducted with 820 women and the second with 327, asked participants if they were ever engaged in a plate for play. 23% of the women copped it to
Plate for play.
Plate for play, yeah. Well, this is don't men, do not pay for a woman's meal ever, never. There is no excuses, no reason to. If you date a woman and you go out on a date, you tell her up front, I'm not paying for your meal. And if she cries, walk away. Fucking walk away.
You see that hole in the tower of silence?
Yeah.
That's you falling into the pit, dude.
Yep. If you pay for a woman's meal, that's you falling into the pit, into that hole. Absolutely.
That you sacrificing yourself for the tower.
Yep. Absolutely, man. You know what?
So what do we got here? What is this story? What is this really telling you right now? That you really even can't even date women at this point, because you know, this is my problem today. Okay, and this is one reason why I don't pursue women. Okay, but as of right now, there's two women that are interested in me. Two, and one of them is, you know, she is making it very clear she wants me to take her out. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at it like through the kind of Yoruba man's eyes. I go, okay, I got to take her out. I got to do this. I got to listen to her bullshit for what? 15, 20 minutes of satisfaction, sexual satisfaction. And at the end of the day, I already know I'm not attracted enough. I'm not nearly attracted to her enough where I want to pursue this for some type of long-term, you know, venture, right? And one thing that in my experience with women, and one reason why I don't really approach women, is because I don't know if she's just using me. I don't know if she just wants attention. I don't know where this is really going to I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know what their motives are. Women have become very ambiguous towards me, where I'm just like, I don't know what your motivations really truly. Again, I don't know what your motivations are.
And it may just be she just wants a free meal.
Exactly my point. Thank you.
It could be as petty as that.
Correct. And women have become much more petty.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I don't pay for a woman meal ever. There's no good reason to, and again, just fucking walk away from it, man.
So my friend from I have one female friend from Cambodia. She flew all the way to the United States to come and see me, and she also had to go meet up with a couple other people. And she's always been sexually attracted to me, but I was never sexually attracted to her. So I've always unfortunately, I've always let her on like I'm gonna hook up with her, but I actually never do. And she first went to Russia to visit her brother. Then she went to Egypt. Then she went to New York. Then she went to Philadelphia. And then she went to San Francisco.
Then she went to Santorini.
Then she went to Santorini, where she got shitted on.
Anyway,
she's 40. She's 43. She's your age.
Okay.
She's very attractive. She's Eastern European, and she kind of tells me a little bit more about herself because we're close. And I ask her about the guys that she's seeing and stuff. And a lot of these guys that she's met up with during her travels were men that she met while she lived in Cambodia. So she first goes to Egypt, and she used the guy. She got the guy to pay for the hotel room, pay for her trips, pay for her meals, pay for everything. She didn't put out once.
Wow.
Then she goes to Philadelphia. She did the same exact thing. She did it to me. I didn't pay nearly as much, but I did buy her dinner because she's my friend and stuff. But my guard was up because she already told me what she did when she went to Egypt and what she did when she went to Philadelphia, right? So I drove her around. I showed her New York City. I took her out for a couple of meals and stuff like that. But actually, on the last night, I took her to a really expensive steakhouse, and I made her foot the bill. I go, oh, I didn't bring anything. Sorry. So I made her foot the biggest bill towards the end. But then she went all the way to San Francisco and did the same thing all over again. She didn't put out once during her travels. And she probably altogether, I'd say about $3,000 to $4,000 was spent on her without her spreading her legs.
Damn. Well, that article too says, in addition to egotism, this is somebody with a PhD in psychology. In addition to egotism with a side of truffled mashed potatoes to go, Collison said foodie callers are more likely to engage in one-night stands, faking an orgasm, or sending unsolicited sexual pictures.
Right.
They're kind of... Huh?
I'll send you a nude for a hot dog.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. For a meal. Incredible. Well, you know, man, I'm going to have to cut it short tonight. It's late here, and I need to get
What are we at, like 2.5?
Yeah, we're about almost 2.5.
Yeah, it's good, man.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to the show. Episode 90, that was. Good to see you guys all there. We've got S. Zartovian just came in. Porn is a placebo for your hormones. Most men in the past were produced in the early to mid-20s. To the later years, we can't do that now and resort to external sexual gratification. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. We will be back next weekend. And take care of yourselves. Have a good night.
We got actually Genocide's going to come back next week if we don't have anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And we're gonna try red pilling an individual next week, so it should be really interesting.
Oh, perfect. Well, tune in next week. We might be red pilling another man live. Should be interesting. All right, guys, take care, and we will see you again in a week's time. Bye-bye.